Hi everyone, good morning. Well, last week I was asked about the 12 disciples. I wonder if you could any of you name all 12, but I thought it would be a great idea for a morning devotional to discuss each of the 12 and then talk about an outstanding characteristic that you and I can follow. And we can find the list of Jesus' disciples in the gospel books of Matthew, in Matthew 10, 2-4, in the gospel of Mark, Mark 3, 14-19, and the gospel of Luke, in Luke 6, 13-16. But let me read the disciples' names from Matthew chapter 10 and verses 2-4. This is what it says. Here are the names of the 12 apostles or disciples. First, Simon, also called Peter. Then Andrew, Peter's brother. James, son of Zebedee. John, James's brother. Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas. Matthew, the tax collector. James, son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who later betrayed Jesus. And in the Gospels, I want to talk about Peter this morning. In the Gospels, Peter's portrayed as impetuous, always speaking his mind and acting on impulse. But in the book of Acts, Peter's decisiveness transformed him into someone the early Christians could constantly rely on and turn to. Peter was originally known as Simon, but Jesus gave him another name, which translates to Peter, meaning rock. Yo, those hardy doors. In the New Testament, Peter is most known for walking on water, disowning Jesus to avoid persecution, addressing the crowd at Pentecost, envisioning a church that included both Jews and Gentiles together, and of course being a pillar in the church. But for me, when I think of Peter, I think of a man that thought he had messed up so badly, which was him denying Christ, that he was doomed to be a failed disciple forever. But we know that after Jesus rose from the dead, Jesus singled Peter out as the one who would not just be a pillar in the early church, but a courageous and fearless leader who would inspire others in the faith. Out of Peter's life, we can see that failure is not something that defines you and I, but rather an event from which Jesus can redeem us and cause us to be far more than we ever thought possible. Maybe this morning you're feeling, or maybe you know that someone is feeling like a failed believer. Well, take heart. The life of Peter shows us that Jesus is truly the lifter of our head. And if we'll just step out in faith to his call, our failure won't be debilitating, but a stepping stone to greater things through Christ. Amen.